this dark and full of shameful admissions video, we are going to start with the book that's been around the longest. More than 125 years, in fact, and work our way up to the most recently published. I have no defense for not reading these books. All I can say is mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa, and pick up book one and let you know that I have never read H.G. Wells's The War of the Worlds. A masterpiece, a seminal work, a book that influenced so many authors. First Contact, Martians Arrive, Bad Things Happen. It's a book that's never been out of print. And I've had more than 50 years to read it. Finally, I'm going to do it this year. I promise. It's my promise to you to check off this book from the list of shame. It's a book that is more than a book about aliens, First Contact. It's more than a horror, even though this book scared quite a few people. I'm sure you've heard about the radio show. There's been movie adaptations, of course. But it's a book that, even though establishes science fiction as a genre, it's a book also that talks about colonialism. H.G. Wells is not just writing about the other. He is writing about the humans and what we are doing to natives, specifically Tasmania, I think, and the Aborigines in Tasmania. I've read that he was really influenced by the plight, the tragic plight of the natives. So it's a book that I cannot wait to read. And even though I'm ashamed to never have picked it up, I can say, at least in my defense, that I have read Wells. I read The Time Machine, and I thought it was good. Of course, written in a completely different time. It gives you a different flavor, and I really, really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I'm so happy to find this edition because I think the cover is fantastic. It's fun. So let me know if you've read H.G. Wells, if you've read The War of the Worlds, or is it also on your list of shame? Leave a comment down below. For book two on this list, we are going to make a little bit of a time jump. We are skipping over World War I and landing in year 1937. Olaf Stapleton, Star Maker. That's my number two book on the list of shame. I have read nothing from Stapleton. I could have chose one of three books really, but I chose Star Maker because that's the one I'm most curious to read about. It seems like an unusual story to be written in 1937, an out-of-body experience, a human propelled to the stars by unknown means. Seeing the galaxy, figuring things out, seems like a very cerebral story. Seems like the type of book that I would enjoy reading. Have you read Star Maker or any other Stapleton? Which one would you recommend as the first one? There's Cyrus, The First and Last Men. Star Maker is the one I was thinking about. Let me know if I'm correct. One of the reasons why Stapleton also is on my mind right now is I recently read that he was one of the favorite authors of Stanisław Lem's. I did not know that. Lem, an author whom I admire greatly, was famously skeptical of many science fiction writers in the West. However, Stapleton was one that he greatly admired. Just another reason for me to read this book and to check it off the list of shame. At number three, perhaps the greatest failure of me as a science fiction reader is the fact that I've read exactly 0 books written by this author. I'm talking about Roger Żelazny. He of Polish descent, which I know is silly, but actually means something to me. I can't believe I haven't picked up a single book by him. The one that I'm admitting here, shamefully, to never having read is This Immortal. This is the book that I most want to read. It's a book that I actually don't even own, but I'm on the lookout for it. This Immortal is one that I cannot wait to read. Of course, there are others. There's the famous Lord of Light. For some reason, I don't think that's going to appeal to me, and I don't want it to be the first book. The Amber Chronicles, Road Marks. There are others as well. Roger Zelazny, prolific, well regarded as an author, influential as well. Lots of interesting themes in his work. This immortal postulates Earth way in the future, as far as I know, a planet that's been decimated. Only few million people remain on the planet. There are some overlords, essentially, who come to visit. There is a rebellion brewing. It's supposed to be an interesting, provocative, thought-provoking read. I cannot wait to pick up Zelazny. I'm going to do it this year as well, for sure. For sure. Let me know what you've read from the author and what you think I should pick up first. Is this immortal a good one? Let me know. At number 4, Dying Inside by Robert Silverberg. 1972 was when this book was published. Thankfully, I can say that I have read Silverberg. Time of Changes was an incredible read for me, and I'm really looking forward to continuing my journey through Robert Silverberg's back catalog. Dying Inside is a book that I've been curious about. I love the covers of that book. There's something about the cover of Dying Inside that really speaks to me. It's evocative. It's a book that deals with telepathy, a subject that was popular in the 60s and 70s in science fiction, typically a subject that does not appeal to me greatly. Although I have to say I loved Sturgeon's More Than Human. I thought that was really well written and very interesting. Now, this book I don't know a whole lot about, other than the fact that it's considered by many to be the best work of Robert Silverberg's. It's a book in which our protagonist, who has this telepathic abilities, is slowly starting to lose them as he's aging. It's a reflection of all of us as we age, and I'm noticing this for sure now, being in my 50s. We do slow down a little bit. So this is a book full of reflection, full of sorrow. It's a book that goes beyond science fiction and should be considered a masterpiece beyond the SF genre. Let me know if you've read any Silverberg, if you think Dying Inside is indeed his magnum opus. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I need some strong coffee to help me get through this one. At number 5, Book of the New Sun, Gene Wolfe. One of the most notoriously difficult to read books. Everyone talks about it as such. It's really 4 books, and the first one, Shadow of the Torturer, was published in 1980. This won numerous awards, of course. In these books, we are introduced to Severian. We are millions of years into our future. This is part of that kind of a subgenre, really, of dying Earth stories. It's a book that is mysterious, difficult to understand, difficult to comprehend. I felt like I have never been ready to read this book. I have the books. They're on my shelf, sitting there waiting patiently. Will I get to them this year? Perhaps I will. Perhaps I won't. This might be a good one to do a buddy read with someone on. I don't know if this is something that I'm ready to commit to. But Shadow of a Torturer, such a classic that I know I will read at some point. I do have to be, I think, in the right mood for a book that will certainly challenge me, perhaps confuse me. Have you read this notoriously difficult story? Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think I'm ready to pick it up. At number 6, we have Robert L. Forward with Dragon's Egg, a book that I'm ashamed to say I've never read, because I think I picked it up at least 3 times, opened it, started reading maybe first few sentences, maybe I read the first page, and then I went and grabbed something else. I'm notorious for doing that. My wife laughs at me as I stand and scan the shelves. It's a problem. It's a problem. And this book should have been read at least 3 times. It seems like a fascinating story. In it, we are introduced to, I think they're called Chela, fascinating creatures, tiny, size of like little seeds. They're intelligent and they live on a neutron star, hugely dense, like the surface gravity is maybe like 60 billion times that of Earth. This is a story of their development. It is a story also of first contact with humans. I cannot imagine how this first contact is going to develop. If you read this book, what seems to be a fascinating book. I hope it's well written. Leave a comment down below as well. Let me know if I should pick it up. Oh, I forgot to mention, it was written in 1980, so the same time as Book of the New Sun. At number 7, we have perhaps the biggest, the most well-known title of all the titles on this list. It's a book that was named one of the 100 most important books of 20th century by New York Times. I think I got that right. I'm talking about a book that introduces cyberspace to the wider public. It's a book that talks about dystopia, artificial intelligence, cyberpunk. It's a book that creates a subgenre, essentially. Of course, you know I'm talking about Neuromancer by William Gibson. Can you believe I never read Neuromancer? I can, actually. For some reason, it's not speaking to me. Cyberpunk is really hit or miss for me. I will, of course, read this book, and I'm going to read it before the movie comes out. I'm sure you know that there's a movie in the works, and I'm eager to see it, but I got to read the book first. So it's coming. I think it's going to happen at some point later on this year. I'm looking forward to reading a book. This was published in 1984. I was 10 years old. So now we're getting into books that were published when I was alive. So Neuromancer, do you love it? Do you hate it? Leave a comment down below. Okay, we are slowly inching towards the end of this video. At number, 8, I think? We have Speaker for the Dead by Orson Scott Card. Ender's Game, a great book. I really enjoyed it. It's not one of my all-time favorites, but it's one that I've returned to. I think I've reread it twice. Now, why is Speaker for the Dead on this list of shame? The reason is twofold. Number one, I've picked it up several times and haven't read it. Number two is that I've heard Speaker for the Dead is actually better than Ender's Game. Many readers think so. It's definitely more of a mature book now. Ender is much older. In fact, over 3,000 years, I believe, have passed since the events of Book 1. Time dilation being such as it is, Ender is still alive, and the year is like 5,000 something. So that's interesting in and of itself. Also, the fact that Ender is a grown-up now, I think is going to appeal to me. I need to read it. There are interesting aliens also in Speaker for the Dead, some deep philosophical themes. Have you read it? Should I prioritize it? Because I have a feeling it's one of those books that I can think about and just keep pushing down the TBR. I think it's one of those books that I will enjoy reading. Why am I not reading it? I don't know. Next one on the list is a chunker at number 9. Peter F. Hamilton with the Commonwealth Saga. Well, of course, I'm talking about Book 1. If I'm going to hate Book 1, I'm not going to get to Book 2 that makes up the Commonwealth Saga. So Pandora's Star, over 1,000 pages. In my edition, I think it's like over 1,100 pages. It's a brick. It's a space opera. I've heard mixed things on the series, but some people love it. It seems like one to read if you're going to read Peter F. Hamilton. I haven't read anything by the author. This is the one. Peter F. Hamilton is, of course, a contemporary author. This was written in 2004. Big scope. Aliens, of course. Fantastic world building, future projection. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't read it. How can I know? Please leave a comment. Let me know if Pandora's Star, the Commonwealth Saga, is something that you enjoyed. Because like I said, I have heard mixed reviews. But let's get to the last one now. We've gotten to the last book on this list. I'm talking about Neal Stephenson and Anathema. I could have said 70s. I could have mentioned a couple of other of his books. Anathema I'm going to bring up because I'm going to do a buddy read and read this book fairly soon. It's one that I've been meaning to read again. It's been on my radar for a long time, and I've been a little bit afraid to pick it up. My understanding is this book is difficult to read. It's also a thick book, quite a chunker. Stevenson invents his own language in the book. I think it's going to be a good one for a body read where I can get some moral support. So I'm really looking forward to that body read with Sam and Whitney, with whom I've read several books at this point. We typically have a really good time reading books together. So in any case, Anathema, Neal Stephenson, have you read it? Is it a good one? Published in 2008. It's the most recent, by far the most recent book on this list. So that's my list. That's the end of the video. There are, of course, so many other books I could mention on a list like this. Books from the golden era. Books more recently written, like Ancillary Justice, for example, Ready Player One, which I don't think I even want to read. But there are so many books that you could mention. Please leave a comment. Let me know what books you're eager to read and maybe are just a little bit ashamed for not having read already. Thanks for watching.